Hey, everybody, it's Mike Portnoy here, hanging with my boys Tom and Zeus right here on Shout It Out Loudcast.
Oh, boy. Here we go. This is Simmons. Put that cookie down, KISS. Stop pressing the button. Stockbroker Simmons. Star? Paul Stanley. Is that what he does? Stop shouting. My name is Ace Frehley. He's not what you would call a handsome man. Oh, no, here come the KISS cards. Is that a positive thing? Okay. All right. I'm going to grab me an ice cold mellow yellow. Why? Why do that to the fan? Stop it. Why? Because fuck them. That's what I'm talking about. 617-525-0850. You do? Hey, fucko. Do you like KISS? Settle down.
Hello. Hey, what's up there, KISS Army? Tom and Zeus, another episode of Shout It Out Loudcast. Episode 259. World Domination Tour.
Yeah, we're back with tour reviews. It's been a long time. I think it's been May of last year we did one. And now we're going to do one that we attended. So,
Honkin' on Bobo.
Oh, you mean the Roximus Maximus tour for Aerosmith? Isn't that what they called their version of the tour?
I don't know.
And then KISS is like, let's do like what cool name? Domination? Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that.
Yeah, it's basically the 2003 KISS Aerosmith tour.
It's basically the 2003 End of the Road tour, but we'll get into that.
Basically, yeah, you're right. Tom, but before we get into that, we go into last week's episode, and that was album review time, and these are always quite popular. We did Dynasty, and obviously we did a poll on the best 4 songs. What do we got there?
What do we got there? Yeah, every time we do these polls for album review, best songs, we get astronomical numbers, which is what we want to see, and it's great. So we could have picked any 4 songs. We knew what at least 2 were going to make this, and then we just kind of threw in another 2 because we knew there'd be a lot of write-ins. But the 4 options in the poll were Sure Know Something, 2000 Man, Charisma, and I Was Made for Loving You. Sure Know Something curb stomped everyone else in this poll with 47%. The other 3 guys were all hovering around 17, 18%. You had 2000 Man at 18, and Charisma and I Was Made for Loving You were tied at 17. A lot of write-in votes here. Dave G says it's a tough choice. They're all phenomenal songs. Our buddy Tony from Restrained, who's, I don't know if he's vacationing now. Maybe by the time he hears this, he'll be on another ship somewhere. Sure Know Something has always been a favorite of mine. Definitely a standout track on this album. Yes, indeed. Our buddy Wes Beach almost had a stroke when he heard the episode. I'm still trying to process how you both made this your number 2 album ahead of Revenge and Creatures. To me, it's a bottom 5 album. Ooh. Sorry, Wes. Love you, buddy. And then our buddy Cameron Johnson. I'm still reeling from your take on Magic Touch. Sorry. And then right after that, Bob Zelenka says Magic Touch is the best song. No, it's not, but that's okay.
Bob Sacramento? What's his name?
Hey, my buddy Bob Sacramento. Yeah.
Did you see somebody put up an AI version of, they took every time Kramer talked about him.
Yeah.
And they put those words into something. They created a fucking AI version of it. You got to see this. So stupid.
Nice. Brad, not Backpack Brad. Brad says, great show and album. Similar to the record skip that was burned in your mind, those of us with the 8-track have the fade out and fade in burned from X-Ray Eyes and Save Your Love. Yeah, because 8 tracks, when it would fade out, sometimes it happened in the middle of a song. He says, I typically agree with you guys, but Magic Touch is glory you, glory me, glory us. Oh, God. Oh, no, don't do that with Dangerous. Uncle Paulie, I've been waiting for this for about 4 years now, ever since I first tuned into your show at episode 5. I'm 50 years old and not much excites me anymore. However, this excites me. Wow, okay.
Oh, Jesus. It sounds like, you're getting a little overreactive to this.
I'm hurt.
Things that we can do for you.
I'm very hurt.
Ken and Satan's Service, one of the first albums I owned as a kid and still one of my favorites. The poster was on my wall forever. Ace shines on this, and it's definitely not a disco album. Great job, T and Z. It was cool seeing a lot of comments here. A lot of people talking about the nostalgia of getting this one. Our buddy Brad Baird, you done it again. Much appreciated. Taken back to 9 years old and air guitars, drums, and tongues. Yeah, Brad. Yeah, a lot of great memories for a lot of people with this album, whether or not you love it, hate it, or in the middle. But that's what we got for Twitter this week.
All right, Tom, on the Book of Face, let's start with Ronnie Bachowski, who's slowly taken over, is the most vulgar listener we have.
Oh, I can't wait for you to read. As soon as I saw this comment, I'm like, I can't wait for Zeus to read this on the show.
I was so excited to see you reviewing Dynasty that my pecker fluttered once like a pigeon having a heart attack. This is my absolute favorite album of the 70s era. It became underrated and polarizing for two reasons. Because too many KISS diehards had the rock cock too deep in their asses, unable to be open-minded to a couple of disco-sprinkled songs that were incredible regardless. So they missed out on so much great other rock material in the record. And on the other was the band's fault with the few missteps after Love Gun leading up to their Hanna-Barbera presents KISS on Ice figure skating look. The over-marketing and cartoon-like appeal is what hurt them in the album. It's overall a very consistent record, even despite my few criticisms, like the lyrics to Charisma being too much of Gene chewing on his own meat bag, or Dirty Living sounding like something that could have been rolled in the credits of a sequel to Taxi Driver. I love this record, and any haters of it can just eat my ass with a spoon. Alrighty then.
It's like in the, gee, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you.
Yeah, exactly. Sneed Rock. Hell yes. Can't wait to listen. This was my first KISS album. I bought with my own money because it was part of the Priceless collection. My favorite Peter song is this, and these are the best Peter wrote. It plays like a movie in your mind, and then he quotes the lyrics beginning with Midnight Out of China.
Nice.
Anthony Hunt, good review, guys. Thank you. I'm in the camp that it's production, not the songs, that keep this from being the same league as the earlier albums. I like where you're going, Anthony. Mm-hmm. Imagine what Eddie Kramer might have done with this and Unmasked. The Ace originals on this album are fantastic. He really came into his own. Save Your Love is a great sing, and the solo was absolutely brilliant. A lot of people reminiscing about how they bought the album. Mm-hmm. I think, we're 50. A lot of listeners were about our age when this came out, and I think that's where a lot of memories were formed with Dynasty. People remember this.
Yeah, totally.
Mark Fleur's Music, who knows his stuff, says this regarding the cover. Contrary to legend, the only photographic change was Peter, see video. I was lucky enough to go through every item from the KISS warehouse that was sold at their Butterfield's auction in 2000. While there, I took this video and the actual master photo that was submitted for touch-ups. Note, it appears Gene's writing in red pen with the instructions on what to fix on Peter. Now, if you guys need to see this, this is on our Facebook Loudcast post. You can check out what Mark's saying. I don't know what the truth is. We're not researchers.
No, I did see that, and I wanted to comment on that too. And I know our buddy Joey Caserta commented on the story of Peter's eye makeup.
I know Joey Caserta.
Look, like Zeus said, we're not researchers. When we do album reviews or when we do anything like this concert review we're going to do, we look into information, details, background. We consult with KISS books. So the information that we're giving you is information that we're getting from sources. We're not saying that Joey doesn't know what he's talking about. We're not saying that Mark Flores doesn't know what he's talking about. We're just saying that, like most bands, like most historical things, some truth is there. The story we heard was Paul wanted things to be photoshopped. Mark Flores has shown us a video about other things. Joey's telling us another thing. Look, we're just
find your own fucking truth is what Tom is trying to say.
Pretty much. Yeah. Again, we're not the end all. We're not, again, we say this all the time, and we say this with a kudos to KISS FAQ. We're not them.
Yeah. So fuck off, KISS nerds, if you're fucking complaining about stupid shit like that. People are saying the fucking Peter makeup is not, like, who cares, dude?
Oh yeah. Another thing too. Yeah. I know I heard it from a lot of people. Thank you, KISS tards. Yes, I know I misspoke. Paul does the solo on Sure Knows Something, not Ace. Thanks for correcting me.
Yeah. All right. Over on Loudcast, Pastors. Bruce Fowley says, one of my top 3 KISS albums. Yes, it's slick, but the fantastic songs top to bottom. Can't wait to hear your reviews. BC Allison says, great episode, Tom Zeus. Very sensible and honest breakdown of a landmark KISS album. Well done as always. Adam Stevenson.
Yeah, the Metal Oasis podcast. Check them out. I've been there a few times, so you can check out those episodes.
Dynasty is definitely polarizing. I've come to enjoy it more and more after all these years of listening and shout out Loudcast. The Gene songs have improved in my eyes, and Ace sounds killer on 2000 Man. But the fawning over sure knows something. Maybe Teen Z should be the one in Straight Jackets. Yeah, I think he kind of figured it out on his own that he should be in Straight Jackets because he got fucking pummeled.
Well, he's used to listening to Cannibal Corpse and that. He doesn't know what he's talking about. We love Adam, but that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
everybody's got an opinion.
I mean, not liking it is the unusual opinion.
Yes, I agree.
Paul Heider, Zeus, Ace during the Bellevue Straight Jacket photo shoot. Hey, mine smells like puke and diarrhea. What's going on? Ace, we haven't given you yours yet. Great review. Like Zeus, this was the last album I bought before KISS dropped off my radar. Glad to see I'm not the only one. Before coming eclipsed with AC/DC, Streetheart, Aldo Nova, Joan Jett, and a lot of other hard rock acts. But I always liked this album. Didn't care about the disco flavor, as I always had room for any other music that has great hooks and melodies. Sure, I preferred it played on loud guitars with a driving beat, and KISS delivered it here. It's no surprise that during the last couple of weeks, I was blaring this disc right alongside Boney M's Night Flight to Venus disc. No idea what he's fucking talking about.
Nope.
Same pounding drums, echoey vocals, hooky chorus that snag deep into your brain. Disco or not, great songs last a lifetime. I'll take this over most other later albums. Really enjoyed this episode, fellas, all the way up until Zeus picked Charisma last. Sorry, man. Joey, don't call me Ray Romano Romanik. Dynasty is a top 5 KISS record for me. It's full of deep cuts that deserve much love. It's also the first KISS record that I bought when it was released, as I had become a fan in the time period between the solo records and Dynasty. It's weird how it gets called a disco album when really has one song that even remotely sounds disco. I Was Made for Loving You. Yes, there are a few funky bass lines in songs like Sure Know Something, but the songs on this record are bangers for the most part. Ace really shines on this record with Hard Times and Save Your Love. I also much prefer the production on this record than the 5 of the other original 6. You're fucking nuts.
Whoa.
Everything but Destroyer and Dynasty sound flat to me. The instruments are all live in the same sonic spectrum and lack punch, crunch, depth, and separation. Settle down, fucking Mike Portnoy here. Fucking. I know you played in the fucking band as a drummer in fucking middle school, but
well, you know the treble on 2000 Man.
Yeah,
it's a little off.
Yeah.
It's a little off.
I know I'll take
as a musician.
Yeah, exactly. I know I'll take flack from the rock and roll over and love gun tards for that statement. And like someone had mentioned, now I can tell you that that's not Peter on drums. Back in 79, I assumed it was him. Killer show, guys. All right. Josh Brown, damn hot out of the gate for this year with Bruce and Dynasty. Don't really have a lot of memories of this album, but without a question, this album is one of the few KISS albums that has no skips. I love every song on it. The more I listen, the more I love it. And it would probably be in a top 5 KISS album. And he ranked number 1, Sure Know Something. Yeah, like a lot of people. The great Tally Faulkner, Tom. 6-year-old Tom Gelati listening to Charisma and hearing Gene's demon voice. Teenager me listening to Charisma for the first time and thinking that's sleazy Gene and absolutely loving that song. To me, Demon Gene comes out at the end of that song. I always thought that magic touch belonged on Paul's solo album. Personally, I love that song and I understand all the people who love it too. I like the song. It's just repetitive and goes on far too long.
Yeah, Tally. Look, Tally, love you. We went back and forth on Facebook. Magic touch is not good, but that's okay. I respect your opinion.
Over on Instagram, 6 Mr. Steal Your Girl. I don't know what fucking who that is, but a top 5 KISS album for sure. The bass rocks on every song. Radio Chaos. Totally agree with the review. Stared at this album for hours and hours when I was 6 years old. I'm pretty sure Paul plays a solo on Short Notes. We talked about it.
Yep.
I used to dream about a KISS concert when I was a kid, and these are the songs, the only ones I knew, so I assumed they play them all in concert. At the time I was made for London was massive here in Australia. This was the first thing I ever bought with my own money. The lineup of Ace, Gene, and Anton on 2000, man, is killer. Sounds like a different band. This album is second only to Rock and Roll Over, in my view. Caught Bruce's interview, loved it too. I wish Bruce all the best in the future. Keep up the great work, mates. Love it. Let's skip on over to YouTube. Patrick 2420 says, I'm glad to see that you've allowed Ace some more snacks in addition to his perennial favorites. Who doesn't love popcorn? You guys are the greatest. Please keep it up because you got what I need.
That's awesome. I love that.
Sweet Bit Radio 6689. I was so happy to hear how well Sure Knows Something was received during this episode. It's always been a top 10 KISS song of all time and probably my top 30 songs that I know of all time. It captures the youthfulness and desperation that a girl can have over you so well, no matter where you are as a guy in 79, hearing it for the first time, or how I was being a freshman in 07, hearing it for the first time. Paul sums up whose emotions so well in this classic song. I'm still shocked it wasn't played on the Dynasty Tour, despite being a single, but also nothing compares to a live version of the song we were gifted between MTV Unplugged and the Symphony CD. Really great episode, guys.
Thank you. Love that.
Devin Dungan, great episode, great album, one of my favorites. Chris Flood, 9205. Real good review of probably their last classic album. Wow. Paul still hasn't explained how Ace was so bad, but you gave him 3 songs, 2 albums in a row. Zeus, when you did that Gene impression, I'm going out for a sandwich and old pussy. Just comedy gold. Thank you.
He just snorted.
We're going to go over here, grab a sandwich, and fuck your girlfriend. Like some radar was it? Fucking somebody had said that he was saying that to him, like Opie and Anthony. Like you walked in, I'm going to take your girlfriend.
That's Gene.
Oh, a couple people like the Joe Walsh impression, Tom.
Yeah, that Joe Walsh is Ace.
Yeah.
Really in a bad shape.
Ace with a stroke.
Yeah, exactly. Ace.
When I first listened to Save Your Love on the Dynasty Tour, oh my God, I thought that was me playing guitar. Whoa.
But Joe Walsh can still fucking
can fucking still perform with the best of them. He's
yeah.
He can still sing. He's got a good voice. Very unique.
Yep.
We haven't had something from him in a bit. The great Marty White.
Yeah, Marty.
For all you Star Trek fans that are also KISS fans, I have great news. A reboot of the movies is coming. The first movie will be called Star Trek: The Wrath of Genghis Khan. Ace Frehley's composing the soundtrack, which will include songs like Space Truckin', Rocket Ride, and Torpedo Girl. He has a cameo that will say the classic line at Spock's funeral. Of all the... Oh, no, man, I got Joe Walsh in my head. I got to do this in the Ace voice. Of all the souls that I've encountered in my travels, his was the most human. And Tom, that's what I got. Over to you.
All right, let's get through some emails here. Patrick Butterworth. Hey, Tom and Zeus, I would like to thank you in advance for 2024. The podcast was great in 23, and so far this year looks like it's going to keep getting better and better. Opening the season with Bruce Kulick was great. Then seeing Fair fucking Warning show up on ARC was awesome. The Sports Heroes Top 10 to kick off Dome Damage was also great. Then you blindside us with Dynasty for a record review. Wow. It has been like the beginning of a perfect mixtape where the tracks that keep coming leave you speechless as you listen. I pretty much could listen to you both talk about anything. Great work, gentlemen. Patrick Butterworth. Thank you, Patrick. That's amazing. Appreciate that very much.
Thank you very much.
We got an incredible email here from Stephen Wood, who actually gives us his review of the album track by track. Very impressive stuff, Stephen. Thank you. Mike H. My mom was a big fan of Jerry Lewis. Every Labor Day weekend, he would host a telethon to raise money for muscular dystrophy. Yes, I remember. The dude basically stayed up for 3 straight days trying to raise money than he did the year before. I became a fan because my mom was a fan. Anyway, the telethon had guest skits and musical performances. In 1979, KISS was a guest. They weren't live on the air, but they played the video for Sure Knows Something. I didn't have the record yet, and this was the first song I heard from the album. I instantly fell in love with it, and I still love it today. As far as the record goes, it contains 40% of my top 10 favorite KISS songs. For an album that many view as a piece of shit, I obviously have to disagree. Gotta hand it to you guys. You make any KISS topic better just by you guys talking about it. It's like magic or some shit. Love you guys, Mike H. Well, love you, Mike. Then we got an incredible email from our buddy Sam Paxton talking about a bunch of other great stuff, including the Dynasty album. Sam, thank you for that. Great stuff. We got one here from Don Saw talking about the End of the Road stuff, commenting on the Bruce episode. Thank you, Don, for that. Our buddy Costa Vutsinas, another great email from him talking about in detail his love of Dynasty. Great stuff. We love seeing that. Angelo Capasso, same thing. These emails are awesome. You guys rock, and thank you so much for sharing them. Again, we read them all, so I'm summarizing them as we cover them here, but Zeus and I have read every one of your emails word for word. So, guys, thank you so much for sharing all that. We really appreciate it. Zeus is going to wrap up feedback right now.
Yeah, so one more comment I'm going to read, and this is from our Loudcasters page. From the Greek Thunder from Down Under, Thanos Akratides.
All right.
Well, boys, this is a great, one of the most iconic KISS albums of all time. I don't think you can understand how big this album was in Australia. This album has sold over 600,000 units in the Land of Oz. That's 8 times platinum. It yielded mass hysteria in the land down under when they arrived here a year later for their massive tour. I think this should have been given the deluxe version because there are many demos and 12-inch version available for content. I actually have a vinyl master of a 12-inch version of Dirty Living, was going to be released here, but got pulled last minute. I Was Made for Loving You, 12-inch, was massive here in the nightclubs, and it still is 45 years later, sold onions amount. I don't know what that means, but okay. Sure Knows Something is a unique tune, and I agree with you both that the video clip is iconic. I'm surprised you don't consider Magic Touch and Charisma high points of the album. In my mind, they're both standouts on the album, way better than Ace's Save Your Love. Anyways, great choice, boys. Hope you're both well, considering the snow drama in your area. Well, Thanos, for informing us what it was like in Australia for Dynasty, because I'm going to be 100% honest. I knew the hysteria that KISS caused with the Unmasked tour. I had no idea that Dynasty was the reason why KISS was so beloved when they came then. And this helps explain. You give us some info. Plus, you're just an awesome guy. So that being the case, you, my friend, are comment of the week.
Good answer. Good answer. I like the way you think. I'm going to be watching you.
Yeah, Thanos. Bonus points, my brother, for informing us, providing information. Love that, buddy. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Tom, what we do next is we give a shout out to our Patreon family.
Yes.
Give a special shout out to Johnny G, who upgraded to a demon tier. Woo. Sent us a fucking awesome comment along the way. Johnny, we love you, man. Appreciate it. And we appreciate all our Patreon family members. Patreon, guys, we're at the point now, we have over 100 Patreon members.
Incredible.
Over
Unbelievable.
100.
It's amazing.
Insane. We love all of them, and they're a big help to the show. People are joining constantly, and we can't thank them enough for their contributions. So when people want to say, hey, I like your show, I love what you're doing, and we want you to keep going, and we want you to do bigger and better things and move up and do all sorts of stuff, Patreon is where you really can help us. So if you want to jump on the Patreon bandwagon, come on board. There's 4 different tiers you can join. Find one that fits your needs and come join the fun. Thank you, Patreon members, Johnny G specifically, and everybody in the Patreon family. And if you want to help us, you can go to our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. Right on the landing page, there's Patreon link there. Or you go to patreon.com or Patreon, the app. You look for creators, Shout Out Loudcast, and you jump in and join the fun. Thank you guys out there, and much appreciated.
You guys rock. Patreon guys, thank you so much for everything you do. We always like to give back a little bit depending on what tier you join. Check us out online at patreon.com or the app. You can get some special things like sneak peeks at what the episode's going to be before it drops, involvement in our Flashback Friday, helping pick what we post for those fun pictures every week, and also album review crew input, and just a great community to be a part of. So please check it out. We love you guys. Thank you.
Tom, what we do next is we go over to KISS World.
Yeah, so we're recording Wednesday the 17th. So this is kind of breaking news now, but by the time this episode drops, it'll be all over the social medias, including ours, and people will be talking about it. But Gene Simmons' new solo band is the surprise attraction at the second edition of the Summer Breeze Open Air Festival in Brazil, which will be held in April. Gene Simmons' new solo band will feature Gene on bass and vocals, guitarists and vocals by Brent Woods and Zach Throne, and drummer Brian Tichy. That's a fucking insane band. I've seen Brian Tichy in concert. The guy's absolutely out of his mind. We've seen Brent, Zach, and Gene, obviously. This is going to be phenomenal. Let's fucking hope that if he's doing this, he's going to be coming to the States and doing something. We saw his manager / handler / social media, Christina, post something on her page asking for some input about if Gene does an event, where do you want it to be? So things are moving pretty quickly for Gene, as we knew they would, because he can't sit still. He loves his fans.
Yeah, but Paul's doing something with Tony Orlando.
Oh, good point. Damn, you know what? I should have led with that. You're right. That's bigger news.
Just think of the contrast of what each one of them is doing.
But it makes perfect sense, because now that KISS is over, now they're doing what they really want to do. Their true colors, which we all know, are true. Paul is being a Renaissance man with Tony Orlando. And Gene has hard rock guys touring fucking South America. I mean, that's all you need to know. And also Paul is posing in his art gallery, looking like somebody just ripped one in front of his face. The guy can't smile at all. He just can't smile.
But he's got his paint pants on.
Dude, you look like a 14-year-old girl from 1988 with those pants on. What are you doing?
Yeah.
Grow up.
Yeah, and then it's now a weekly occurrence.
It's a segment now. Go ahead. It's a segment now every week.
Every week, Ace is saying something even crazier than the last time. So once again, he brings up, I owe the IRS a couple $100,000. It's all about my passport. Since I owe them a couple $100,000, they instituted a new law. You owe more than $50,000, they won't renew your passport. Luckily, I have some real smart attorneys working on it, and there are ways around it. Yeah, pay it.
Dude, then there's a headline here from Stereo Gum. Ace Frehley says he may tour Europe if he can continue to avoid paying his tax. Dude, you don't say that out loud.
I got a friend named Wesley Snipes. He gave me some great tax advice. It's really working in my favor.
And then if that's not enough, hey, you know what? I could sing better than Paul Stanley. I can also play guitar better than him too. Why? What? He is going out with, like, you have a new album coming out. In my opinion, this shouldn't you want to like try to ingratiate yourself with fans, or is it just so far gone where he's like, I'm Ace, you idiots are going to buy this record anyways?
Like, he's just spitting out shit that people have told him. You're not supposed to repeat it. As I was saying to you, Jeff Beck May thought he was a better guitar player than Neil Schon, but he's not going to be like, yeah, I can play circles around Neil Schon, so fuck him. Like, what does that have to do with anything? I'm talking to you about your album. Why do you have to shit on Paul?
Like this, guitar.com. A guy like Tommy Thayer can play perfect with no mistakes. But is that what you want? Kind of, yes.
Robert Plant could usually sing Stairway to Heaven perfectly in the 70s. Why would you want that when you can have me sing it instead?
Here's another headline. These are all within the last week that we recorded. This is Ultimate Guitar. Ace Frehley admits, quote, I'm a sloppy fucking guitar player. I should have practiced more.
Nobody loves me. Just, I'm telling you, do you remember like a few years before AI was really big, there was like this Twitter bot that they try to put on the internet?
Yes.
And it was like just adapting to Twitter. And
yes.
then within like one day, it was like spouting Nazi racist shit.
Yes. Yes.
Like, I feel like that's Ace. Like someone's inputting all this shit into his head. And he's just like, yeah, I'm the most influential guy out there. I'm this and that. I'm this. Dude, okay, but you don't have to fucking say it.
He's going through everything with but he's not only shitting on the band, he's like, yeah, I haven't paid my taxes and I suck at guitar. Buy this new record. Like,
but we also forgot to say the other part.
What?
They put a video of him going shopping at the supermarket.
And Lara has to tell him that he's putting the items in the wrong shopping cart. Oh, this isn't ours?
Can I get a discount because I got some blue nail polish on?
Why? Is that like Uncle Ace, the sitcom, like fun, lovable grocery store Ace?
So I don't know if I've said this before, like, I don't know if something's gotten to him. Like, that's a fun thing, seeing Ace going to the supermarket with Lara. I mean, I'll take that. And the camera's on him, so I'll take that.
Yeah. No, it's funny. It's entertaining. And clearly it's record promotion. When we know that. He's got an album coming out next month. We get it.
Yeah, and you know what? But that's the lovable Ace we want. Not you fucking, Paul Stanley. I can play circles around him. I don't think you can now.
No.
I don't.
No, of course he can't.
Well, because you can fucking still do like your solos for the same songs. Try doing something new.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy.
I just wrote 10,000 volts. What you talking about?
It's crazy that every week there's more Ace headlines, new ones. It's crazy.
Yeah, someone's got to fucking get them straight. Anyway, In the meantime, Tom, let's take a little break. Let's go shopping with Ace for a little bit. Hey, it looks like they have a big jumbo bag of cashews here. Lara, let's stop over here and pick that up and grab some fountain colas and call it a date night.
All right, we're back. It took a little bit of extra time. We're trying to help Ace with the self-checkout. He's really kind of confused as to how that works. Guys, I keep hitting the thing. It's beeping, and I don't know what I'm doing. Yeah,
I'm big on computers. Remember, I sang 2000, man.
I had a demo called Insufficient Data. Looks like this checkout machine has some insufficient data.
You got to scan it. What the hell does that mean?
I would pay money to see Ace do self-checkout. I want to see that.
Work the counter at a supermarket. Can I get a price check here on some wild seed grapes?
I need a price check on some Cookie Crisp. Hey, I remember this shit. It's really good when I was a kid. I can't believe they still make it.
He's calling out price checks at a supermarket.
All right. Next episode, Ace gets a job working the deli. Hey, give me a half pound of mortadella. What the hell is that? Looks like old bologna.
Don't put any of that prosciutto on my Italian grinder, please. It gives me the burps.
I'm a big fan of the cheese with the holes in it.
I'll take a meatball sub grinder.
Oh, God. It never goes away. That's why we keep doing it. He doesn't go away.
Oh, but it's getting old. You need to stop. Oh.
We're not, as long as Ace is around, we're not stopping. He keeps giving, like I said on social media, he's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah. Well, somebody tried saying that and he got fucking pummeled. Pummeled.
It happened. It happens.
Yeah. Well, Tom, we're back to the tours.
Yep.
This is a tour that we saw. This is the World Domination Tour from 2003, KISS and Aerosmith combination tour. What do you think?
Yeah, it's funny. This was a weird time to be a KISS fan, at least for me personally, because I felt like at that time we're like, yeah, I like KISS. Let's go see them. Like, what's going on? And 2003 was like pre-social media, so we didn't really know all the shit that was going on. We just like, oh, Aerosmith and KISS, that's kind of cool. Let's go see that. And I got to tell you, this is one of those shows where, unfortunately for me, I mean, I don't really have anything good or bad to say. We'll get into it like, specifically, obviously. I don't have anything really good or bad to say about KISS. What happens when this show is brought up is all I just remember is how horrendous Aerosmith was and how it was really shocking to see KISS perform first. And the other thing that was shocking was that we had to sit through fucking Saliva as an opening band before both of them took the stage.
Oh, they have that one good song I like from them.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not a memorable show. This was kind of a weird time for KISS concerts.
Your Disease, that's what it's called.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad.
I like that song.
Yeah, early 2000s kind of alt rock, new metal shit, whatever. But yeah, I don't really have any kind of really stick out memories of KISS themselves, other than them going on first and being surprised, and then obviously the short set list, which we'll get into too.
Yeah, so the thing for me, Tom, I remember just like you said, KISS was just kind of around. If they came around, Tom, you and I would be like, hey, let's go see them.
Exactly.
And we didn't know what we were going to expect, what songs, this and that. We didn't really have the fatigue yet to be like, oh, I just heard them play that. So it was kind of like, okay, let's go see them. We love Aerosmith. They're a Boston band. We know them too. So we were kind of excited to go see them. We'll talk about that specific concert later. But, this tour we thought was like going to be huge. Holy shit.
Yeah.
KISS, Aerosmith. Now, the first thing that comes up when you talk about this tour is shit. KISS is opening? Paul's ego allowed that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was crazy. There was a couple of interesting things about this, talking about kind of who put the show together, the shock of the set lists. So, both bands playing 80-minute set lists. It was really kind of weird. I mean, we talked about this, Zeus, before we were recording and we were kind of looking into the details of this tour. One of the things that stood out for me was the fact that for some reason, Aerosmith demanded that if they're going to do this tour with KISS, that at least 3 original members had to be involved. And Paul had an interesting quote from his Face the Music book. He said, yeah, by this point, Ace had already made it clear he was done, which left Peter as the 3rd member. Ugh, was Paul's response. So I find that interesting that Aerosmith would dictate what KISS had to do for them to be on the show. I found that really interesting. It's almost like Aerosmith was like, yeah, Paul and Gene, you guys aren't enough. We need Ace or Peter.
Yeah. And that was the big famous thing where there's 3 of them. So they asked Peter back, they swallowed their pride, and Peter came back. But it also gets back to the makeup. Yeah. Peter had no problem with Tommy in the makeup. Prior to that, Ace had no problem with Eric in the makeup. There's a great section here. A lot of this stuff we got from Julian Gill's big book, KISS on Tour. It's a great book. You should pick it up, guys.
Incredible book. Yep.
Yeah, and other stuff we found online and from the individual books from the KISS members themselves. Tom, why don't you talk about the part where Ace says about Tommy Thayer and his role?
Yeah, it's funny because 20 years ago, you got Ace making some comments that today really don't think you'd hear. Ace says, so there were some comments that were asked about Ace's status in the band. Paul said, that's done. At some point, you get tired of that. And then it says Ace at least offered some support for Tommy. And Ace said, quote, Tommy and I are very good friends. If I had to pick anybody to fill my shoes because for some reason or another I couldn't be there, I would pick Tommy. Sadly, as a seeming final nail in Ace's KISS casket, quote, when questioned if that means that Ace Frehley won't be rejoining the band anytime soon, Paul said, quote, I think you can remove anytime soon from that statement. So, yeah, it's funny how Ace is like, yeah, if I wanted anybody to replace me, it'd be Tommy. Yeah, I'm friends with that guy. Great guy. Now he's like, yeah, fucking guy can't play. Yeah, I know he didn't. I know he didn't say that, but you know what I mean.
But he's friends with him. He had no problem with him taking. He's the guy he wanted to take over for him, right?
Yep.
All funny shit, right?
Yep.
And things really change. Well, anyways, the whole story about KISS and Aerosmith, two big bands from the 70s, legends, and they really got along for the most part, with the exception of the lead singers, which is probably a reason why they still don't talk to this day.
Yeah.
But Joe Perry really endeared himself to both Paul and Gene. Peter is friends with Joey Kramer, drummers and stuff from Aerosmith. They're all buddies. And they had a lot of fun on this tour for the most part.
Yeah.
But there were some hiccups along the way. But the two big 70s bands joining, and they were up to try to compete against all those big festival type tours that were going on at the time. And, when they had their press conference, and of course the cliches come out and the jerking off of each other came out in the comments and things like that.
Yep.
And, but there was one comment, I think Steven Tyler said, just don't get any blood on my scarves, like jokingly, but half kind of like, dude, like kind of pissy.
Oh yeah, totally. And I think one of the big things we kind of commented on a little bit before, but talking about KISS going on first. And of course, you think about this now. Can you imagine in 2022, 23, whatever, KISS adhering to a band saying, yeah, we'll go on first? Paul Stanley addressed the issue. He said, quote, when you know somebody has to go on first, and it really doesn't matter to us. I mean, honestly, we do what we do. Nobody can do it better. Aerosmith does what they do. Nobody does it better. It's a win-win for the audience. Really? And because of this, there was a huge thing where KISS couldn't do their confetti because they're not ending the show.
And because everybody's doing a shorted set list,
yep,
a lot of the fans were pissed. Aerosmith fans and KISS fans. Because they're such classic bands, you're only doing a few songs, limited set list. And Paul wasn't doing his love gun flying out shit and stuff. So the set and the tour and everything was a little bit different.
I think it was one of those tours where on paper, it sounded good. You know, Aerosmith, KISS, like two of the biggest bands of the 70s, if not the biggest bands of the 70s. You know, but like you said, KISS couldn't do a lot of what they wanted to do normally. And then for some reason, Aerosmith was pushing the honking on Bobo shit. So they had a segment in the middle of their short set list that could have been used to play classics.
Yeah, they played I Never Loved a Man the Way I Love You, Stop Messing Around, and Baby Please Don't Go. Like, I don't need Aerosmith doing blues shit.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, KISS did their thing. We'll get into the set list. I mean, you can't really complain. I mean, they played 15 songs, which is fine, but it was kind of an odd show. And I really, unfortunately, don't have any really fond memories of KISS. I just remember being like, God damn, Aerosmith, what's happening here? And Aerosmith's set list isn't terrible. It's not terrible, except for that honking on Bobo bluesy bullshit.
Yeah, but there's stuff in there I know you didn't like. Loving an Elevator.
No, Jaded, Ragdoll, Crying. What? Actually, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe the set list does
Crying.
I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss
what
a
it
thing.
takes. Yeah. No, that wasn't in there. That wasn't in there. Their set list when we watched them was Mama Kin, Toys in the Attic, Loving an Elevator, Pink, Jaded, What It Takes, I Never Loved a Man, Stop Messing Around, Baby Please Don't Go, Dream On, Nobody's Fault, Same Old Song and Dance, Crying, Walk This Way, Sweet Emotion, and Train Kept a Rolling. 16 songs.
It's not terrible, but the problem was trying to slog through the middle of that set list. It was rough.
Yeah, it was. KISS actually blew them off the stage, in my opinion, when we saw them.
That's the thing. I really don't have any. I don't have any positive or negative memories of KISS. I just remember that it was like, yeah, good KISS show.
Yeah, but I just remember really walking away and saying KISS was the better of the two, and I love both bands. So
yeah.
All right. What we normally do, Tom, is we go through We talk a little bit about the stage.
Yep.
We talk a little bit about the costumes, and then
Yep.
we go through some of the songs on the tour, and then we talk about some of the dates.
Yep.
So the first thing is let's go to the stage. The stage is limited because they're sharing it with Aerosmith.
Yeah. It's kind of a combination of a bunch of different things they did before. I mean, if you go on YouTube and watch it, they drop down, they're all on one pod.
Yeah.
As opposed to End of the Road that they come down on separate pods. So again, they had the idea of the pods in their mind even way back then. So Paul, Gene, and Tommy come down in the center pod. Peter is elevated up high. There was kind of some like lightning effects, similar stage, nothing really crazy, but you're right, especially at a venue like this, because it was a summer shed tour. So the stage couldn't be really that huge because they had to share it with Aerosmith. But it was good. It was good. It was, at the time it was different. In retrospect, you're like, oh yeah, that's where that came from.
Yeah. I mean, nothing impressive compared to the other tours.
No.
So the stage is pretty weak, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it wasn't anything dynamic.
Yeah. Now the costumes.
That was cool. I thought that was interesting because they went back to the Alive era costumes. Classic Gene with the flaps. Tommy dressed up in that early Ace outfit with the silver circles up around the shoulders. I thought they looked really cool. I mean, it was kind of weird to see Gene wearing this because if you look back at those early 74, 75 tours with Gene, that's when Gene was super, super skinny. So he looked even taller because he was tall already, but he looked so skinny that when he would like kick his legs and kind of stomp around the stage, obviously Gene in 2003, a little bit bigger, a little bit older. So wearing that costume didn't kind of have the same effect for me, but I thought it was kind of wild that they went back to those costumes for that. I thought it looked really cool.
Yeah, I see some of the costumes I see look a little differently. Paul's wearing a jacket, and then the other ones he's wearing basically that wide open chest hair shit.
Yep.
You know, Tommy's wearing the rings around his arm. Gene's wearing kind of like the bat wing vest.
Yep. Yeah.
And
Paul almost has a combination of like the top of him is like Love Gun and the bottom of him is like Alive.
Yeah. It's smorgasbord of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still, I think, stripped down version of what they usually wear.
Yeah. I don't think it's not 100% Alive, but it's definitely Alive. Based.
And it's not original. Like you say that.
No. But I like how it's like it's stripped down and it's more classic looking.
All right. So let's go to the set list. So they played about 14 songs. They opened with Detroit Rock City. They played Deuce, Shout It Out Loud. See, that's what I remember always at KISS. And I think that's my favorite opening from them. And then they have King of the Nighttime World, Do You Love Me, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Firehouse, I Love It Loud, I Want You, God of Thunder, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, Beth, Rock and Roll Night. Now, the first thing you pick up on is the oldest song. I mean, the newest song on this is I Love It Loud from Creatures of the Night. That's it.
Yeah, that you're right. Everything else is from the original 6, quote unquote. They don't play. There's nothing else there. No, there's nothing from Dynasty. I mean, the set list varied a little bit, but generally speaking, that's what they played. That's
what they opened with.
It was all classic OG KISS shit. Yep.
Now,
except for I Love It Loud.
They sprinkled in and they changed songs and take stuff out. Imagine that.
Yeah. Exactly.
Strutter, Love Gun, Lick It Up, Cold Gin, Come On and Love Me, Hotter Than Hell. I would say Come On and Love Me is the only really deep cut from the last 20-something odd years.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool, too, because Hotter Than Hell was the first time it was played since 92. Come On and Love Me hadn't been played since 97. And I Want You hadn't been played since 95. So give them credit. They pulled out a couple songs. Now, granted, they only played Hotter Than Hell twice and Come On and Love Me once. And I Want You, became part of the set list, which is cool. Good for them. But when we were talking about this preparation for the episode, what was the first thing we said to each other when we saw this set list?
It's fucking End of the Road.
That's it. End of the road. this is the end of the road set list.
This is what I've been talking about. I've been saying for the last 20 or so odd years, they've played roughly about 20 to 25 songs. That's it.
Yep.
In a group that has over 200 and something songs, they've played the same 25 basically in the last 20 years.
Yep, because they're a legacy act. At this time they were full blown legacy act. Okay? They weren't trying to do anything out of the ordinary. They were just trying to ride the coattails of KISS.
They're 5 years removed from their last album.
Yep.
At this point. Psycho Circus.
That's right. There's nothing here. Now, back in 2003, you said this already, when we were at this show, there was no fatigue. There was no obsession with the set list. We didn't have social media. We didn't have podcasts. So we were just like, oh, cool, they're playing Firehouse. Oh, cool, they're playing I Want You.
Yeah, because the reunion tour wasn't too long ago. So we're dying to hear these songs at this point.
Correct.
Fatigue hasn't set in. We want more of this shit. Are you kidding me?
That's right.
So we're happy to have this stuff. It's just the fact that they never changed anything afterwards.
Yeah. This is just a shortened version. This is the end of all these songs are on the end of the road tour. And it's really shocking to see them touring in 2003 and not playing anything with the exception of I Love It Loud off. Everything was off the first six. That's wild.
And then Lick It Up comes in, which is 83. Big deal.
Yep.
All right. So the tour starts and opens up August 2nd, 2003, Meadows Music Center, Hartford, Connecticut.
Yep. So the first night, both bands, they played shortened sets from what they normally do. One of the funny things here is KISS's curtain got stuck while it was dropping, and Steven Tyler tried to be funny and wore a fake Chikara tattoo.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
And
this was the only time they played King of the Nighttime World.
Yeah. And
why would you take that out of the set list?
Well, then they move on through the Northeast. They had a couple shows in New York.
Yep.
A show in Washington, D.C., Jersey, Ohio. They postponed their show in Comerica Park. I don't know why, but
there was a blackout.
Oh, there you go. That's why.
Yep.
And then, they move through Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Buffalo. They don't come back around to us till August 25. That's when it was called the Tweeter Center, Tom.
Yep.
Not Great Woods. At this point, it's the Tweeter Center now.
That's how old this is. Yep.
And Saliva opened up as well as Portugal's. Do you remember that?
Never heard of them in my life.
Yeah. It went to 99.86 both nights, sold out. So that's about as good as they got throughout this tour. The thing that I remember about this tour, and I've mentioned it on this show, Aerosmith obviously is the favorite because that's the Boston band.
Yep.
This is when Paul Stanley, remember, said to all the audience at one point, it's like, hey, everybody, Boston.
Yep.
We're right down the street we're from New York, right down the street. And he thought that meant like, oh, we're friends because we're just from New York. And he got fucking booed.
Mercilessly. He had no idea.
He was like, what the fuck? What did I say? I fucking loved it. Boo. And he's like, all right. Well, but that was fucking great.
Yeah. And they did two shows at here. And on the second show was the first time that Cole Gin was added to the tour. Yeah. And also a funny thing too, on the second show. So where the Tweeter Center is, or whatever the fuck they call it now, it's not far from trying to access Foxborough Stadium, Gillette Stadium, where the Patriots play.
Oh,
so on this night,
traffic.
They said there was an NFL preseason game between the Pats and the Bears, and there was also a golf championship. They said there was massive traffic throughout the area because you had all those things going on all at the same time on the same day in the same vicinity.
Nothing has changed.
No. And the set list there was Detroit Rock City, Deuce, Shout Out Loud, Strutter, Cold Gin, Firehouse, I Love It Loud, I Want You, God of Thunder, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, Beth, Love Gun, Rock and Roll All Night. So,
yeah. I think they blew fucking Aerosmith off the stage. I thought KISS was fucking awesome then. I had no problems with that at that point. But here's the fatigue wasn't set in. The band still rocked. I didn't care if fucking wasn't really Ace. I didn't give a shit.
But here's the funny thing, and I mean, it's small changes, but imagine this. So they played August 25th, and then they played August 27th. They made set list changes within 2 days.
Yeah.
On the 25th, they had Let Me Go Rock and Roll and Do You Love Me. On the next night, they took those out and played Strutter and Cold Gin. So can you imagine the concept of mixing up the set list? Even if they're all just exchanging classic, kind of beaten, fatigued songs, they made changes.
Imagine that, Paul.
Yeah, it's insane.
Yeah. So then they continue around the Northeast, New Jersey, Pennsylvania. They go to the Midwest, Ohio, Chicago, the Tweeter Center over there, Wisconsin, and Comerica Park finally September 7th.
Yep.
And I think Ted Nugent played a couple songs there.
Yeah, he played a 9-song set. Yes. That's wild.
Imagine seeing that bunch of 70s acts there, right?
Yeah.
And then they cruise around September into Florida, Atlanta, Virginia Beach was canceled.
Yep.
Charlotte, NC, Tennessee, and then they continue into Kansas, Tennessee, and things like that. The tour itself, again, they're switching songs in and out a few times here that we talked about, which is fantastic because what they're adding is there's not a dud in this lineup. I mean, some people say, I'm not a big fan of Hotter Than Hell, but it's not a dud.
No.
Same thing with Let Me Go Rock and Roll, maybe, or I Want You. Nobody's complaining that their songs suck. They get while they're being played.
Yeah.
And this is 2003. So them getting back together and getting out on tour, is only 5, 6, 7 years now at this point.
Yep.
Fuck yeah. I'll take this all day.
Here's a funny one they did a show in October in Dallas, Texas. Peter thanked Houston at the end of Beth instead of thanking Dallas.
Yeah, classic, right?
Where am I?
Well, and then they end up touring the rest of the way into the Western Coast, where they're hitting California, Washington, and a bunch of shows there in New Mexico. Circle back around to Vegas, North Dakota, Minnesota, Michigan, and back to Connecticut.
Yeah.
In the Northeast again. So think about it. It's the same fucking tour, and they're hitting spots the second time around. And people are probably like, how many concerts and tours have they done since this that they've hit the same stuff with the same set list after a while? You can see this is the beginning. Like, why do we have to change anything?
But look at the numbers, okay? They do a show in Grand Rapids, Michigan. They play to 6,300 people. They come to Bridgeport, Connecticut. They play in front of, again, 6,300 people, okay? They play a show up in Portland, Maine, in front of 5,600 people. Okay. Then I completely and totally forgot about this. They then came back to Manchester, New Hampshire, and they played at the Garden in Boston.
Yeah.
Well, which was called the Fleet Center back then. So they spent the summer doing the Shed circuit, then came back in the fall and winter and started doing the arena circuit. So they were really kind of confident in themselves here.
Well, look at November 20th, MCI Center in DC.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, 18,000 seat arena, 61%.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah.
Because at that point, both of those kind of bands weren't putting anything really new, and they were still around. They weren't like, hey, you better go see them quickly because they're going to retire. So there was no rush to see them.
And them coming to Manchester, that was wild. They played to 97% capacity. Now that arena is not very big. And then when they played in Albany, New York, they played to 92% capacity. So it's weird because, and then they go down to Michigan, Florida. They're playing to like 70%, 72%. So it's almost like, guys, we get it. Stop the tour.
Yeah.
And this was 20 years ago.
Yeah. And this is Aerosmith with KISS.
Yep.
So it's not just, it's just not KISS. I mean, when they played Knoxville, Tennessee, 15,000 seat arena, 60% capacity. And later, Oklahoma City and Ford Center, right? 57% capacity.
And like you said, this isn't just a KISS tour. This is Aerosmith and KISS. and people like, yeah, I'm all set.
I mean, it's still considered a very successful tour.
Oh, it was. It definitely was. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, some of the numbers that I saw here, it ranked at number 8 for 2003 with a gross of 49 million, basically.
Yeah. Crazy.
And with only one sellout. Ugh.
Yeah. But they sold 82% of the ticket sales, which again, I don't know anything about stats. I don't know if that number's good, bad, or indifferent. I don't know.
Yeah. And the thing is, I'm not sure, but at some point along the tour, heads were butted and people weren't happy.
Yeah.
And Steven Tyler and Paul have still got this Cold War going on. I don't know what the story is there. Joe Perry loves the band. Peter is buddies with most of the people in the band, but those two front just not friends.
No. And again, I think this is probably the beginning. And maybe KISS saw how they could have success with a legacy act like this, because then you saw them touring with Def Leppard, touring with Motley Crue, touring with bands and kind of co-headlining like that. So maybe this was like that launching off point for them to be like, hey, we can do this. We can kind of not ride the coattails of other bands that are successful, but kind of have them kind of lift us up a little bit. So it's not just KISS.
Yeah. The other part to this is, and by the way, just for the record, the last stop was December 20th, Save Mart Center, Fresno, California, played about 86 capacity.
Yep.
I also think, if you think about it,
this
is when KISS probably got to understand, like, we don't need the big shows and the big stuff and all this crap and changing songs. We can just do this limited set. Have a band come in and play half our songs and get away with it. We don't have to put in all the hard work, just put on a show all this time. And then they, like you said, they add in those other artists that they come in and do it. But when those artists went away and KISS continued touring, they never stepped up their game to do something different. Change more songs, add anything out, do that. They're still doing the same fucking set list and stuff and being like, yeah, you know what? We can get away with doing it this way. Lack of effort. Remember we talked about it years ago. I can keep doing the KISS cruises and we can slowly start taking shit away. All right. Maybe we don't get what we used to get, but we'll make more money and work less hard.
Oh, like we've said before, less for more.
Yeah.
You know, but what's also interesting too. And again, I don't know if there's any kind of nefarious behind the scenes why this doesn't happen, but do you notice how KISS is not part of these summer festivals anymore? Like you have Def Leppard, Journey, and Heart coming to Fenway Park this summer. You have, these legacy tours. You used to see Def Leppard with Tesla and REO Speedwagon or Styx with Foreigner and all these things. KISS doesn't do that. I mean, granted, KISS is done now, but I know that they did the End of the Road, so they weren't doing it. But even before the End of the Road, the wheels kind of fell off for them near the end about them doing like those kind of, like, they did do them for a long time because we went and saw them all. We saw them with Poison and Motley Crue and Def Leppard, and they were awesome.
Well, something changed along the way.
Yeah,
anyway, Tom, what we should do is we'll base on the first original set list from the first show. Okay. So the original set list was Detroit Rock City, Deuce, Shout It Out Loudcast, King of the Nighttime World, Do You Love Me, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Firehouse, I Love It Loud, I Want You, God of Thunder, 100,000 Years, Black Diamond, Beth, Rock and Roll All Night. 14 songs. The extras that they brought in was Strutter, Love Gun, Lick It Up, Cold Gin, Come On and Love Me, Hotter Than Hell. What is going in and what is going out?
I'm going to go Detroit Rock City, Deuce, Shout It Out Loud, King of the Nighttime World, Do You Love Me? I'm taking out Let Me Go Rock and Roll and putting in Come On and Love Me. I'm taking out I Love It Loud and putting in Love Gun. I'm taking out 100,000 Years and I'm putting in Lick It Up. And I'm taking out Beth in the encore and putting in Strutter.
All right. Bugger. Me, I'm going Detroit Rock City, Do Shout Out Loud, Cast, King of the Nighttime World. I'm leaving Do You Love Me? I'm leaving Let Me Go Rock and Roll. I'm leaving Firehouse, I Love It Loud. I am taking out I Want You.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And I'm putting in Lick It Up.
Okay.
I'm leaving in God of Thunder. And I'm going to take out 100,000 Years. And I'm going to put in Come On and Love Me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. I'm
Wow.
leaving in Black Diamond, Beth, and Rock and Roll all night. I'm not putting in Strutter. I'm not putting in Love Gun. I'm not putting in Cold Gin. And I'm not putting in Hotter Than Hell.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, you're captain of the Strutter Hate Club.
I don't hate the song. I just don't need it.
Okay.
So that's what my set list is. Now, Tom, what we do is we rank this shit.
Yeah, let's rank this shit. Yeah, we rank the set list, the stage, the costumes, the tour itself.
All right, let's start with the costumes, Tom. We've done the Hotter Than Hell tour, Spirit of 76 tour, Lick It Up tour, Hot in the Shade tour, Hottest Show on Earth tour, and Freedom to Rock tour.
Yep.
Where does this rank?
Okay, this is similar. It's pretty much identical to the Hotter Than Hell tour. And it's okay. I like how they kind of go in old school minimalistic, but I mean, it's makeup, but it's not great. I'm going to put this at 5. I'm going to put this below. This will be my lowest ranked makeup costume tour. This will be 5 below Hottest Show on Earth. So the Hottest Show on Earth and Freedom to Rock costumes were pretty much the monster costumes, which I don't mind. So that's why they're a little bit higher than this.
All right, for me, Tom, I had Lick It Up at 6, Hot in the Shade 5, Freedom to Rock 4, Hottest Show 3, 2, Hotter Than Hell, Spirit of 76 was number 1. I am going to put this, just like you, I'm going to put this at number 5, above Hot in the Shade and above Lick It Up, but below Freedom to Rock. It's just not original.
Yeah. I mean, I get what they're trying to do. They're trying to go kind of nostalgic, and I give them credit for that, but no.
It's and not that the other ones, Hottest Show on Earth or Freedom to Rock, are so fucking whatever or so original. I just found them to be less of hodgepodge, like fucking mix of shit, as this one is.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's go to the stage now, the tour.
Okay. Yeah, so I got Hottest Show on Earth ranked 6th, then Freedom to Rock, Hotter Than Hell, Lick It Up, Spirit of 76, and I got Hot in the Shade number 1. Again, this is the era of KISS kind of doing some kind of mishmash stuff. They have the pods, they got some lights, but remember, it's stripped down. It's minimalistic because they're sharing the stage with Aerosmith. So it's
Did you just say he stripped his fucking teeth?
He stripped his fucking teeth.
He's in the piano. He's really wedged in there.
So, I mean, it's a KISS stage, so it's obviously dynamic and exciting and visually whatever, but it's not great. And I'm actually going to put it last.
Tom, I have Hottest Show on Earth, Hotter Than Hell, Freedom to Rock, Lick It Up, Hot in the Shade, and Spirit of 76, number 1. No need to debate or talk about this. Yeah, it's last for me too.
Yeah. Yep.
So, all right, let's go to the set list now, Tom.
Okay. So my set list, I got number 6 last. I got the Hotter Than Hell tour, then Freedom to Rock, Hottest Show on Earth, Lick It Up, Spirit of 76, and Hot in the Shade number 1. This gets penalized because it's short, and because of that, it goes last. So we're butchering this tour. Sorry, something's got to be last. Something's got to be last.
Yeah, how the fuck before that you had Hotter Than Hell last? What the fuck?
Because it was only songs off 2 albums. That's why. That's
great
why.
albums, though.
No. I know.
All right, so I had Freedom to Rock, Hottest Show on Earth, Hot in the Shade, Lick It Up at 3, 2, Hotter Than Hell, Spirit of 76, number 1. I am going to put, I'm putting it last, 14 songs. What are you going to do?
That's what I was going to say. It's not that it's like bad. It's just short. And that's you have to take that into an account.
All right, Tom, what do you have as far as your overall tour rank?
Okay. At number 6, I have Hottest Show on Earth, Freedom to Rock, Lick It Up, Hotter Than Hell, Hot in the Shade, Spirit of 76. I don't think it's going to be anybody's surprise based on what we're talking about here. This was just, to me, not a very memorable show. It was a short set list. The stage was okay. It was all classic era songs, nothing unique, nothing crazy. It's still a KISS show, so it's better than pretty much anything I've ever seen. But that being said, it's going last.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Bugger.
All right. Booger.
Well, Tom, I look at it this way. I had Freedom of Rock, Hottest Show on Earth, Hot in the Shade, Lick It Up, Hotter Than Hell, Spirit of 76 tour.
Yep.
See, part of me wanted to surprise people and say, well, it also had Aerosmith opening up, not fucking ZO2.
No, but that's a negative for me because that Aerosmith show sucked.
It's still Aerosmith.
I know. So go ahead, do your thing.
I can't. I'm looking at Freedom to Rock songs that they played. Way more songs.
Oh, yeah.
And just as good as songs. So how can I pick against it?
Plus, that was a good show. I remember that show. That was a good show.
Oh, was that when Paul made everybody stand up and do like the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yeah, that's not why it was good. Relax. That was the most awkward thing in the history of concerts.
Well, anyways, this is dead last, too. I can't do anything. What am I going to say? Well, what am I debating about? I mean, it's fucking last.
Well, it's tough. I mean, this is the era of KISS doing shows that, in my mind, I'm sorry, they get blurred. They get blurred. Now, again, the only thing that this sticks out, like you said, is that it was Aerosmith. But if this was just World Domination KISS, you'd have to do like the water torture on me to get you to tell the difference between this and the Hottest Show on Earth tour.
Yeah, I wonder if, we look back and we start seeing, like, wait a minute, if there were 18 songs, 19 songs on this tour.
Yeah.
If they added all those songs in there that didn't make it before, and there's 20 songs or something, the 6 that weren't in the original set list, where would you rank this? See, for me, then it might move up because, again, I would say Aerosmith's opening up for them.
No, I took all those songs out of the set list because I don't like them. I don't want them added into the set. I don't want to hear Let Me Go Rock and Roll. So, yeah, I mean, look, it's a KISS tour. We went. I'm glad we did, but it's not one that's going to be like, it's not fucking Hot in the Shade. And it's not that.
Yeah. Well, Tom, what we do next is we move on to question of the week. What do you got?
We got one here. It comes from an email that was sent to us by Mike Odd. What is your biggest disappointment in history? Mine is that Peter Criss never recorded a real rock album. He had a great rock raspy voice, but his solo albums are fucking disappointing. That's what Mike says.
Okay. So I could go along those lines. I would say I would have loved it if in KISS, Peter and Ace sang at least one or two, between the two of them, there's at least 3 songs of theirs.
Yeah.
Maybe an album in the beginning, maybe Ace only does 1 song per album, but Peter's doing at least 2. And he was kind of in the beginning. I wish they sang more songs. I wish there was more of a variety and give them a different sound, a little bit extra, a little bit more rock and roll with Ace, a little bit more R&B with Peter. I don't know. I just think it would have been pretty interesting to have more of their songs out there. But,
yeah. Well, no, that's good. I think that's a great one. I think a lot of people would agree. For me, this is easy as fuck. This is easy. I wanted another album out of the Bruce Kulick, Eric Singer lineup. I think we got Revenge and Carnival of Souls, and that was it. I wanted another one because they were getting heavy. It was getting hard. It was getting rocking. I know that music was changing in that time. We haven't reviewed Carnival of Souls yet, but I think people who listen to the show can tell where I stand on that. I wanted another album out of that lineup. Instead, they did the reunion, which I get it. The reunion was magic for all of us. We love it. But that's my biggest disappointment is not enough albums out of that lineup.
Do you believe that Sonic Boom and Monster would have been much different if Bruce was there?
Those albums wouldn't have been made if Bruce was there.
Why not?
That those albums are not. When Bruce was in KISS, they were doing new and different things. Those albums, like Sonic Boom and Monster.
People said they copied Bon Jovi, then they copied grunge.
No. I'm saying they were doing new and different things for KISS. Sonic Boom and Monster was the band trying to recapture 70s like classic KISS. They weren't trying to do anything new. They were trying to
Yeah, they weren't doing non-makeup music.
Right. They weren't trying to do glam or grunge or hard rock. They were trying to do rock and roll over. And I don't think Bruce would have done that. And if he was on it, the albums would have been way better than they were because they're not very good as they are. And that's not Tommy's fault. I'm not saying that Tommy is the reason why they're that. But
Good answer. Good
yeah.
answer.
Mike, thank you for your question of the week. We love it. And we also love the fact that our buddy and fellow Shout It Out Loudcast Hall of Famer Tony Barone sponsored our question of the week because Tony is the man behind abcpainc.com. He's the tax man for a reason. abcpainc.com can do all of your tax needs, your individual, your business, anything. He can help you with it all. He's helped Zeus. He's helped me. He's done it all. He's awesome. You can reach him at abcpainc.com. There's a contact link right there. You can call him. All the information is there. Head to his website. You can also follow him on Facebook. His Facebook page is great too. Check him out. Tony from abcpainc.com. He is the tax man for a reason. He is fantastic to deal with. He will answer all your questions and help you with whatever your tax needs are.
Yeah, Tony's awesome. Thanks, Tony. Tom, where can people find us?
You can always start with our website, shoutitoutloudcast.com. That's you can find all of our episodes, Shout It Out Loudcast, Album Review Crew, Dome Damage, Zeppelin Chronicles. You can also find links to our Patreon there. You can also find links to all of our social media, our merch, our Amazon shopping, tons of stuff there, all of our rankings, everything is there. You could also comment directly from the website, and we get those in the form of an email. Or you can just send us an old-fashioned email at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. And if you want to be your question of the week, send us an email. We put them in a little folder. We pull one out every week. And that's one of our favorite parts of the episode. We love reading your questions, so please send them to us. Use our email, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com. We read every single one of your emails. I can promise you that. We might not read them word for word on the show, but Zeus and I, we read every email that you send us, so please keep them coming. And, of course, our social media, very active on those, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Please check us out, follow us, tag us, all that good stuff, interact. We love it. And of course, our Shout It Out Loudcasters group, which is approaching 10,000 members, which is insane. Please, if you're listening now and you're not part of that group, get in there. It's fucking fantastic. It's crazy. Crazy shit goes on there, but it's fun as hell. So please join us there. And we always like to say that we are a proud member of the Pantheon Podcast Network of shows.
Yeah, you can always DM us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We're also now on Threads.
Yes.
So we get our posts there too. You can always find us and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is constantly growing.
You do.
Give us one of those 5-star child reviews on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you can. It's a big help to the show, moves us up the food chain. And we always tell people to remind them they could email us at shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, shoutitoutloudcast@gmail.com, and check out our website, as Tom mentioned, shoutitoutloudcast.com, shoutitoutloudcast.com, and where you can get all your Shout It Out Loudcast merch, info, rankings, all that stuff. We've had 2 episodes in a row where we just did rankings. We just did the ranking for Dynasty. We're going to do the rankings for the store. All of that will be found on the website. You can peruse that, put your comments there. Those comments stay on that page, unlike social media, where last week's episode moves down and becomes old. This one stays on the website, and your comments can there, and you can constantly comment on them.
Mm-hmm.
Tom, what we like to do now is end with famous last words. Do you have any?
Yes. She can move you and improve you with her love and her devotion, and she'll thrill you and she'll chill you, but you're headed for commotion.
I'm not going to lie. The first thing that came to my head is that, okay, she can, and then you said, she can move. I'm like, what the fuck? Exact lyric.
Yep.
All right, Tom. Just a few more hours, and I'll be right home to you. I think I hear them calling. Oh, Beth, what can I do?
Can you imagine if he sang that? Oh, man.
Oh, Rachel, I hear you calling.
Oh, Lara.
But I got a bunion on my toe.
God.
Price check on the adult diapers, please. While you're back there, pick me up some as well. Oh, shit. That fucking sandwich Elvis gave me, that fried banana fucking peanut butter sandwich, went right through me. I got some mud crawling down my back leg. Oh, yuck.
We can't even get out of this episode.
Oh, you need to stop. You gotta cut it out.
What the fuck?
All right, Tom. Loudcasters, Kiss Army, thank you.
Guys, you're the best. We love you. Kiss Army, Loudcasters, Ace Cult, Ace Lovers, Ace Haters, whatever. Zeus is always my friend. Thank you.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Hit the music. What I'd like now is for all you fat, out-of-shape, worldwide kiss-tars to keep the noise down while I show your ladies what a real sexy man looks like.
Listen, all you people out there sitting on rented furniture, settle down.
Cut the music. Anybody seen Richie? Anybody know why Richie did Bobby Lupo?